hopefully this will happen as I am outside. Obviously I'm on my Wi-Fi, but my living room is just there. And today we are talking about being authentically you, which was a question I was asked when I was on a panel for Leeds University for their Masters in Comms students. And it really resonated with me. I thought, actually, that's going to be a good one for the midweek mindset. How can you be authentically you in different situations? So the first thing I'm going to share is something that my lovely coach, Helena Holrick, shout out to her from Helping You Shine. She says this all the time, and it's something that I've really embraced and embodied. It's that you don't have to be either or. You can be both and. So, for example, I am both a voice vibration, sound healing, nature loving, crystal energy believing, chakra sound healer, yoga, barefoot on the lawn, hippie, woo, spiritual woman, and a F1 loving, meat eating rock chick. I am both and. Now, some of my friends will say, yes, but you're extremes. I'm like, yeah, I am extremes. I am both and those things. So, how can I show up authentically at a spiritual event? So, for example, the Life Arts Festival that I'm going to be at in September and October. How can I show authentically in this space filled with higher vibrations and spirituality and self-awareness, and where people would expect me to be vegetarian, at least probably these days vegan? How can I both care about the planet and like Formula One? It's simple. The technologies in F1 are the same technologies that have helped with energy transfer in the modern vehicles. But I just love the energy. I actually love the vibration of it. So there's a complete connection. So you can show up because we are all multifaceted. So how can you show up authentically as the whole of you? You probably won't all the time, but you are the whole of you. So when I go to, for example, I had a corporate client in a company that was based at the stock exchange, and I'm going live in a couple of places here. So hello to Alan. Lovely to see you live there on Facebook. And so I go to the stock exchange, and I was giving my workshop on vocal confidence and presentations. Is that incongruous with me being a crystal healing, energy vibration, hippie woo person, for want of a better phrase? No, because they are both parts of me. Now, does being authentic mean I have to go in there in going, well, I believe in crystals and I love being barefoot and natural, and so I have to go in there in my flowy, crystally, holistic healing woman clothes? No, because I am her. I don't need to show or prove. Now, sometimes we can go in and choose which part of us is going to be shining brighter. So when you're authentically you, you choose, okay, which part of me is showing up here? So when I was working at the company in the stock exchange, I went not in my flowy dresses with my sage and my crystal beads, but in my body contoured designer dress and my fabulously gorgeous heels, because I love wearing heels as much as I love being barefoot, because I was taking those parts of me. The trick here is to not be hiding the bits of you that you think other people might negatively judge. That's the key. That's really the element of what's going on. So when we are stepping into our full authentic self, we need to remember that there are going to be times when bringing the whole of us into the room is not appropriate, or that part of us is not the part of us that is ready for that. And then there are going to be other situations where we bring the other part of us, but it doesn't stop you being the whole of who you are. So I am always fully and wholly both Judith, who loves being barefoot, currently barefoot, not going to show you. Often I would, but that would just be too tricky. Right? I am always Judith, who talks to the trees. I spent a good 45 minutes this morning down just looking at the apple tree, doing some sounding, having done some yoga, having done a workout. Right? Both and that woman, as well as the woman who 10 days ago went to Goodwood Festival of Speed and watched fast cars going up and down a hill around the rally stage. Because you are always the whole of who you are. The challenge is how much you accept and how much you're judging the different parts of you in the different situations that you're in. If you've seen me speak before, you'll have heard me say confidence is situational and subjective. So subjective because there are some things that you are confident in doing that other people aren't, and there are some things that other people are confident in doing that you're not. So there's the subjective. Situational because it depends, our confidence depends on the situation that we're in. So for example, there might be a presentation that I've delivered to individuals. Like the first time I ran I'll take the example of me going into the stock exchange, into the asset management company, taking my vocal confidence public speaking workshop to them. I'd run it for public, for individuals coming for at least 3 years. So I was really confident in the workshop, in the work, but I'd never done it in a corporate setting before, let alone having to go into the stock exchange and taking your passport, and it's an asset management company and they deal with big money, and I was being paid proper money for it too. So that situation changed my levels of confidence. And that's the thing. So when you're connected to the whole of who you are, it's about not trying to hide, having confidence in the whole of who you are and not trying to hide it, choosing which part of you bring to the fore, but also not hiding the other parts of you. So in that first workshop, as I was introducing myself, because you're like, well, who am I, this person who's just come into your office to deliver this workshop? I would say, this is who I am, and give them all my corporate credentials. I said, I'm also a barefoot, tree-hugging, crystal healing, voice vibration sound healer. But if I'd walked into this office in my full white flowy dresses with my crystals and my incense, how would you have judged me? And they all kind of laughed and went, yeah, we'd have been like, what's this hippie doing in our office? So I still mentioned that part of me. And that's the thing. It's not hiding you. So how to be authentically you is really about self-awareness. How aware are you of what you negatively judge about yourself? There's the key element, and the biggest pain in the bum is actually, when we come down to it, when we're afraid that we're not being authentic, it's probably because there's a disconnect somewhere within yourself about how you relate to yourself. So I invite you here on this midweek mindset to let me know what you are both and. I would love to know what you think. There's a friend of mine who, when we were dating, used to call me a dichotomy. He'd be like, you're just such a dichotomy. You can't love Formula One and rare steak and be a crystal using voice vibration sound healing hippie. I'm like, yes, I can, because I am. Right? So what are your both ands? Right? Who are you? You are both something and something else. I would love to know. And I would love you to think about it and write in the comments so that you can start thinking about embracing fully and wholly your both and. And you might have both and that's okay, because we're all different elements of us in different situations. And that's good. The better we know ourselves and embrace the whole of who we are, right? So your whole voice is the start of living your whole life as the whole of who you are. Whole voice, whole life, whole you. So that you are more confident and comfortable sharing your voice in those situations where you may be feeling a little bit like, oh, but who am I to be here? You can bring the whole of you to that room. So I would love to know, what are your both ands? You are both what and what? So I, for example, am both overly independent and love to be nurtured and taken care of. There are so many different elements of this, and the deeper you know that, the easier it is to be both and to show up authentically, because you know you better. Now, some people say, oh, but what if I'm in a room where something's being said that I disagree with? So that is a matter of confidence sometimes, to just say, I'm feeling uncomfortable with this conversation, to be in your authenticity, right? If you're connected to your deepest truth and higher purpose, which if you've heard me speak before, I bang on about all the time. I don't feel comfortable with this. I appreciate that might be your opinion, but that's definitely not how I see things. So you can authentically show up like that. We don't have to be confrontational. And obviously there's a whole other thing there about confrontation and conflict being two different things. So we don't have to create conflict through it. We can simply state if something doesn't sit with you and you're feeling inauthentic, if things are going on. The key actually to authenticity is speaking up when you feel really strongly. If it's something that, you're not that fussed about, you're like, well, that's their opinion, and actually it's not worth the energy, it's not worth the effort of me speaking up, then that's still authentically you. You've made a choice. If you're in a situation where it's really going at your values, that's where you might feel inauthentic if you're not speaking up. So I've got someone lovely here sharing on Instagram, saying, I'm spiritually high level and I've hidden fear making me not enjoy my relationship with my higher self. So there we go. Like, both really high level spiritual and a little bit of fear going, oh, do I really want to know my higher self? Because it can be scary. The deeper we know ourselves, the higher we know ourselves. I came across this fear. Thank you so much for sharing. I came across this fear with a client the other day. We were doing a light council connection. So the light council is what I refer to as, some people call it your cosmic team, your angelic guides, your support system, your spiritual connections, whatever it is. And she was like, I'm a little bit afraid because I don't know what they might show me or how I might relate to it. So thank you for that, both and. So if you're feeling inauthentic, it's probably because there's something you're not saying, because something's not resonating with a part of you that really believes it. And that's where we go to the having vocal confidence. And that's a whole other thing. But today, I really want you to embrace your both and like both Savara House Riyadh has done, and lovely Alan, who said, I'm a series of ands and that and more. But he's not into crystals. That's okay, Alan. As you know, I don't force my spirituality or my crystal healing down anyone's throats with crystals. That would be a choking hazard. Sorry, bad joke. I've used it before. It's on my website, but I quite like it. So I invite you to share your both ands with me. And you might have lots of both ands. I am both very practical and very spiritual. So there we go. There's 3 of my both ands. Embrace your both and you will feel more authentic when you're showing up in places. And that is one way to be more authentic. If you would like to know more, please reach out to me, PM me, go and have a look at my website, or book a 20-minute connection call if you feel called that you would like to delve into some more of this with me. And those connection calls links are on my website. In the meantime, go play, enjoy your day wherever you are, and I will speak to you next week on Thursday with Thursday Tidbits. Okay, see you soon. Bye. It's still going.